Hello, my name is Ed Bunny Rich. I'm a peer supervisor for Tree of Hope Association and a certified peer recovery specialist. I'm a person in long-term recovery now with 28 years. And I stopped smoking cigarettes many years ago, 2002. When I look back on it, I believe it's May of 2002. I had smoked for somewhere around 24 years prior to that, picking up a cigarette when I was younger, thinking it was cool and trying to be cool. Maybe just trying to fit in when I think about it back then. Oh, I had started using other things, drugs, and it seemed to go with the whole profile and everybody else that I was around. Even though I had been athletic as I was younger, this was in my early 20s, I even started smoking. So it wasn't like I picked it up as a teen. I started when I was in my early 20s. Yeah, so it progressed. So did my drug and alcohol use along with it until I got to a point where I was ready to stop at some point using drugs and alcohol. But smoking seemed okay. It seemed harmless to me, and I didn't need to actually, it seemed like it was a big issue at the time. As long as I stopped drugs and alcohol, that was the major issue. However, over time, after a few years, I felt as though I was still in the grips of addiction, that I was still having to go and at late at night or and pick up a pack of cigarettes, and I was still not free from active addiction, and I felt that. And during this period of time, the prices of cigarettes were steadily escalating. A lot of times I would complain about not having money, and then I realized that a lot of my money was going up in smoke. Now, one day I went to work and the elevators were out. So I had to walk up 4 flights. And I knew that I didn't have the wind. I knew that, you know, that that sometimes I would be coughing up phlegm in the morning in the shower. And I knew that was an issue with my lungs. But when I had to walk up those 4 flights of steps, I could barely make it. And at the third flight, I thought I was going to pass out. Somebody's going to find me on the steps, passed out or whatever. And I made it, but I thought I was going to still have to call 911. And I decided, even though I had told myself many times and told other people that I was trying to stop smoking, I decided that day that I, I needed to stop smoking because my life depended on it and my peace of mind depended on it. So I said I kept telling people, I said I'm going to try to stop smoking. And I started doing some things here and there. However, it didn't work. I'd always find a cigarette back in my mouth. One day I decided, I said, I'm not smoking anymore. That was the difference. Those are two different messages. As long as I kept saying, I'm trying to stop smoking, that was all it was going to be. When I said, I'm not going to smoke anymore, and when people ask me, I say, I don't smoke anymore. That's when the message became clear to my brain and the actions followed. And from that time, I have not picked up a cigarette. Like I said, that's how many years? 2002 to today, coming up on 2026. That's 24 years. 24 years. And I use the steps too, 1, 2, and 3. I'm powerless over tobacco and cigarettes. Okay, and 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 that has become unmanageable. 2, a power greater than me can restore me to sanity. That's my higher power and people around me who have done it before and showed how to stop. That's how I use them. And to sanity is sanity. Why would sanity as I was dying? Why would I keep doing something that killed me? That's insane. So, and then 3, a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity and to help me, and I turn it over. I turn it over to a higher power, and I ask him on a daily basis to help me. Help me not smoke today. I don't smoke anymore. Right? Not help me try to stop. I don't smoke anymore. Help me not smoke. And the message I give myself, that is a clear message, and that's what took over in my every part of my body. And since that day, I haven't picked up a cigarette. I might have thought about it, but I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I don't smoke anymore. It was just that simple. And then I'm free. I'm free today. And my money's not going up in smoke. I think of the prices today, it's like $15. And when I stopped, it was $5, and that was like, that was outrageous to me. And now it's like $15 or something a pack. I can't even imagine that, a pack a day at that kind of money. So anyway, that's my experience. That's what I use to stop. A clear message to myself: I don't smoke anymore. Instead of, I'm trying not to smoke. Thanks, and I appreciate you guys. Praying for you. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
What advice would you give somebody if they're trying to stop smoking now?
I would say, if you have a higher power, get in touch with your higher power, but make a decision and tell yourself, write it down, tell yourself, I don't smoke anymore. I'm going to stop smoking. I stop saying I'm trying to stop smoking. That's as simple as I can get. Don't say that, because that gives you an option. That gives you always an open-ended result. So when I say I don't smoke anymore, I'm not going to smoke anymore, that's clear. Have some reasons why too behind that. My health, money, the people around me, because it's a selfish thing. When you smoke and blow smoke on other people, you're affecting their health as well. It's outrageously self-centered. That's why one of the other reasons why I stopped is because in Montgomery County was passing a law that you could not smoke in restaurants, and that means that I would have to go outside in the cold. You trying to tell me I'm gonna have to go outside in 10-degree weather or something and smoke a cigarette? No, I'm not going to do that, and it's time for me to stop and stop blowing smoke in other people's face. Secondhand smoke is just as damaging as smoking a cigarette yourself to others.